see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Friday, April 5th, 2024, and this is episode 670 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled One Last Weekend. I'll be chatting about the upcoming eclipse and theories swirling around it. We're going to go down some of those rabbit holes. We're going to touch on things and see what everybody thinks. We're not going to be touching anyone, but we'll be touching on eclipse theories. And we're just going to roll with it. It's Tinfoil Friday. I heard it on TikTok Friday, Conspiracy Friday, whatever you want to call it. But I've been digging into the latest and greatest eclipse theories that I can come up with. We've mentioned some of them. Some of them are new, but let's talk about them as we prepare for the eclipse on Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Let's check out who's hanging out in the live chat, who's in the coffee crew. Grab a cup and hang out for an hour. It's Friday. It is Friday today. Good morning. Good morning. First in at 1:20 a.m. I don't know if 1:20 a.m. actually counts as first. Like I can, if somebody really wants to be first, hey Jen G is the newest. I think you'd probably be the newest member of the coffee crew consistently. Would you like me to message you when I put the show up and you can pop on YouTube and say first? Do you have to come in and say first and then be there continually until the start of the show to make it count? Anyway, One Take Records in 119. That's another one of Mr. Norton's accounts that he has to use so that I can see his comments. Jen G in. Good morning. Good morning. Pickle Pete. Yep, that's the same guy. Hunter. Good morning. Good morning. Jim stopping in on YouTube, and let me click over here and there he is. Good morning, Jim on Noster. Also, thank you for running two browsers. I appreciate it. Or maybe popping back and forth. Picklebeat says you're up. And he was up making music all night. Well, I mean, didn't you say Chicken Joe hurt her wrist? Jed says she needs messages because being first is so important to her. Good morning. Good morning. Hunter over on Twitch holding down the fort. I think I mentioned him, but he's worth mentioning twice every now and then. What's in the cup for this Friday morning? Jim just drops a random your. We're not sure why. He's Jim. What's in the cup this morning? More GSD. I'm going to get it done today. We have 1 day left before SRF. Actually, I think some of the activities kick off today with some classes and demonstrations and things like that. Corey and I are headed up in the morning. Got a vendor tent. I'm running the content creation tent. Lots of cool people heading into town. If you're on your way, I would love to talk to you when you stop by. Definitely stop by and say hi. And remember, there's a lot of you and one of me, because if I don't necessarily recall who you are, please don't be offended. Please do not be offended. I deal in screen names and no faces, so it's nothing personal. Definitely nothing personal. Jim's being a grammar Nazi. Jim's being a grammar Nazi in my chat. In my chat. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. I make up words. I say words wrong. And if I got a grammar Nazi, I don't know how long that'll last. So anyway, GSD in the cup. I got a lot to do today. I got some final prep work for content creator tent. Like sign up sheets and things, kind of last minute tweaking, get them printed out. Ran to town yesterday and got the table fair for us, our flyer for our paracord stuff. Got a bunch of copies of that made. Got change to give folks back some fiat change if they don't want to pay with crypto. and just kind of getting everything gathered around. Corey and I do round and backs to the festival every day. We don't stay up close to it. We're about an hour and 15 minutes away. So with the dogs and having to take them in and out daily, we kind of bust feet up there in the morning, hang out for the day into the evening, and then turn around, drive back home and spend the night and get up and do it. So we are going to definitely be tired. Good morning, Kyle. How we doing? Thanks for stopping in. Somebody is on vacation today and she is super happy. So if you didn't happen to see the screen, somebody popped in to say hi. Used to happen all the time until I moved into the room. And I don't know if this move, Jim says, good morning, Corey. I don't know if this move was I think it was probably a net positive. What do you think? I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough arrangement with two people having to talk out loud. Jen says hi. I don't know, Jen, were you around when Corey would stop by and make her tea every morning? Pickle Pete missed the cameo because he was probably making music or something. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy weekend. We're gonna be super tired by the end. Because we actually get up earlier and normally get to bed later. So Corey's got some time off. She's off today, which is fantastic. I love spending the days with Corey, even when it's the weekend and she's normally off. But the days she takes off during the week are just bonus days. Oh yeah, okay, Jen, just so you know, I used to do the show in the next room over in the camper at our main like living space table, and the stove was right behind me, and in the middle of the show Corey would get up and go make her tea, and everybody would say hi to her when she was standing in the background because we don't have a lot of space here. But we're making it work. And we're definitely learning a lot, and we're learning what we need to do going forward when we have a new space. That's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. I got wrestling dogs in the back. It is definitely an interesting morning. It's probably because Corey is not doing her routine. Here is the problem, folks. When we switched rooms and Corey got a new job, well, promoted, I guess she got a new job, same company, new job. She changed her work hours to line up with the show. Now, morning we get up, we take the dogs, she takes the dogs out, I make my coffee, I get ready, she takes the morning shift with the dogs, I take the night shift with the dogs, and then she goes into the back room and starts work. And Clyde, our biggest asshole dog, that like if he doesn't get his way is just an absolute terror, goes back there and lays on the bed with her, or lays on the bed, and she works. Well, this morning he didn't go back there and sit in her chair, and he's literally tearing the camper up, destroying toys, running around, irritating his brothers, pegging them on to begging them to play, to destroy the camper with them, and they're just bouncing around. And it's all because Corey isn't sitting back there working. Yeah, Jen says it's definitely a learning experience. We're uh-oh, guys. Elon knows. Elon saw my notes. Uh-oh. Jim says, poor Clyde. I'd like to hear his side of the story. Corey says that he misses his mommy. She went back and talked to him, and he's missing his mommy. Kyle says he's not doing great. 20 inches of snow, hundreds of trees down, and probably no power for 4 days. Well, son, do you have a generator or 6? And do you have any fuel? I know you have food because you can walk out into the paddock and grab yourself some pork chops. Like, I don't think that's a problem. But do you have a generator and do you have fuel? Hunter says, happy birthday, Satoshi Nakamoto. Oh, man. Is it his birthday? Is it his birthday if you don't know who he is? Anyway, let's get on to the eclipse, guys. I had a note on here on Monday. I have to definitely, well, I don't know if it'll be Monday. It might be Tuesday. I think Monday we're going to do a pre-eclipse show. So hang out and talk about the eclipse. Corey is, she has to work in the morning. Is anybody watching this thing? Is anybody watching right now? Not is anybody watching us now. Is anybody going to be watching the eclipse on Monday? Are you traveling to see it? Kyle, I know that goes right over his house and it's his birthday. I'm sure he'll be out in his underwear and in sunglasses in the yard watching it. It's like in the middle of the afternoon, like 3:00, somewhere like that. Well, Hunter's going to watch it. He's in the path already, but is anybody traveling to see it? We're in 89% or 90+% totality where we're at. So it's close enough. I don't need to watch it, but if you are watching it, will you be outside watching it or will you be inside watching Brian live stream it live? I don't know how I'll do that, but anyway, Monday, I think we'll be talking about it, of course, other than the fact that if I'm not around Monday, I'll let you know, likely on tomorrow night, I'm going to end up winning $1 billion. So I thought I had it in the bag. I thought I had it in the bag 2 drawings ago, but I realized that it wasn't $1 billion yet, and I really didn't want it. So I waited a couple drawings, nobody won, and now it's time for me to win the Powerball tomorrow night. So I probably won't do the show on Monday if I win. Nah, you never know. You never know. Might be just throwing Benjamins out. Oh, we're giving away 10 free memberships. I'm giving away $100,000 on Monday mornings. Disclaimer, only if Brian wins the Powerball. Jim says a friend of his. Well, first of all, I'm skeptical of the first 2 words. A friend will be flying during the eclipse. I said, nice knowing you. That sounds like something just eerily similar to Lost or something. Tell me they're flying through the path of totality. Are they flying from like North Carolina to Utah? Where are Jim says he'll be here if he wins the $1 billion. Why? Why in God's name would you be here? Flying from Florida to New York. Oh, gross. Oh, is that one of your snowbird friends? Nah. Oh, he'll be here to gloat. We'll kick you out. Anyway, let's get to it. What are we thinking about the eclipse this weekend, guys? What is if you can drop it in the comments, if you've heard any conspiracy theories, if you heard any wackadoodle theories, or even not even quite wackadoodle, if you've heard any, what is your favorite? What is the favorite thing you've heard about the eclipse? We'll pop through them here, and as they pop in, I'll mention them and see if they're on my list. But Yeah, let's talk about the eclipse. Monday is a total solar eclipse. It's causing quite a stir everywhere, mainly in the US. I know that's something I've noticed. That is something I've definitely noticed in the videos I've been watching and preparing for you guys this thing. Um, the majority of the videos are from the US. And it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense because it's here. The X marks the spot is in the United States. This is the second one in the US, and it's happening here. But you would think if this is some grand conspiracy theory, if this is some grand religious event, um Backwoods Butcher said his favorite is some guy, some Dumby. Dude, there's no B in dummy. It's not Dumby, it's Dummy. I know English is hard, but some dummy on internet and YouTube keeps talking about giants. Would be on TikTok too if they'd let you talk about giants. Oh no, Corey's having dreams about giants. Is spelling considered grammar, Jim? Jim's calling me a grammar Nazi. I was just wondering, is spelling grammar, or is grammar only sentence structure and the like punctuation and stuff? It includes spelling? I don't know. I don't even know. Jim says that it's not real and this is all a simulation. Another friend that is all in on QAnon. Jen says spelling is grammar. I don't know. That might be a debatable subject. I don't know. Oh, Corey says Microsoft considers it two different errors and two different colors when auto editing in Microsoft Word. One is red and one is what are the blue? Green. One's a spelling error and one's a grammar error. See, my wife backs me up every once in a while. She usually thinks I'm just dumb, but every once in a while, Kyle says it doesn't matter. He's bad at both. Jim says that's a Microsoft conspiracy. Anyway, yeah, the eclipse is getting wild. So is that a Microsoft's conspiracy or a multiple sclerosis conspiracy? The conspiracy theories around the eclipse are getting pretty thick. I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot of fodder there. There is just an absolute shit ton of fodder, which sometimes leads you to believe maybe there's a grain of truth to it. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a grain of truth to it. I got a list here of my favorite ones. First on the list I have here, Kyle mentioned it, is the giants and the earthquakes. So there is a theory that the eclipse is a signal to the giants that are living under the earth to wake up and emerge. Basically, the eclipse, the solar eclipse, and the one in 2017 that came across the United States was the original alarm, and then obviously the giants hit the snooze button or something for 7 years, and now this is the actual alarm that's going to come along. They reference the past, that this has happened in the past, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know whether your historical accounts are accurate. They talk about giants, and now I opened my mind and I thought about it a little bit. I sat and I contemplated. Pickle Pete says there is no under, you mean inside. Well, that's if you believe the earth is a globe and not flat. So many twining paths or twisting paths. Um, so I did some contemplating on the whole giant thing and looked at some of the different things that have happened. So you watch enough of these videos, you hear enough actual facts from history and from Easter Easter Island. Oh Jesus. I haven't seen anything tied to Easter Island yet. But as you look through history and you see events that have kind of happened around eclipses, during eclipses, near eclipses, I can see where the giants fable, legend, theory spawns from. There have been some pretty significant earthquakes, whether coincidentally or um, caused by, I guess that would be a causation relationship. I don't know. Uh, there has been a significant amount of times in history when there's been an eclipse, relatively shortly followed by or corresponding with a major earthquake. One that comes to mind from my viewing and reading here was in the early 1800s. We had a solar eclipse in the New Madrid Fault, which I'm really close to, ripped off. Pretty bad earthquake. So I can see where people in the early 1800s, with no internet, with no quick communication, with no nothing really, when the earth started rumbling, the sky went dark, the earth started rumbling, and things started breaking open, and you didn't know what was going on 300 miles from you. Might have thought that possibly the giants were waking up. The giants were emerging. They never saw them, but does that mean they're not there? I've never seen a sloth, but I know they're a thing. Which brings up an interesting question that Corey sent me the other day. This doesn't have anything to do with eclipses, but what was it? She was talking about extinct animals. How? Yeah. Here's something for you guys to contemplate over the weekend when you want to get your mind off the eclipse. How can anyone know that an animal is actually extinct? Like, seriously. They found a whale. What was the whale? Like 300 years? They thought the whale was like 300 years extinct. And they found one. They're like, oh, look at that. We thought it was extinct. And there's a whale that we didn't realize that was still around. Like, how can they call anything extinct? Are they looking everywhere at the same time? Like, I've played hide and seek as a kid, and you know the kids that cheat and they hide and then they move. Is anything really extinct, or have we just not looked hard enough? I don't know. Anyway, the giants. Oh, Pip says his favorite theory is the robotic birds from the government will be fall from the sky. Jim says, when Pip get here? He snuck in the back door. Pip was outside having salad out the back door when the show started, and he was running a little late. He was reading about eclipse theories. Anyway, the Giants are one of my favorite. I think that it really coincides with earthquake. I really do. And I don't know if it's necessarily the eclipse that is going to possibly make this come true, or if it is the devil's comet that we've talked about prior. the comet that's that comes by every 400 years or whatever. I don't remember what 700 years. I can't remember what the cycle on the Devil's Comet is, but this is a nasty, nasty comet, and it's similar to Halley's Comet. It comes pretty close to Earth, and it causes some really some screwy shit to go on when it passes by. Earthquakes, volcanoes, countless other things. So it's here. It's here. It's going to be. It's visible in the night sky to the west. A lot of places, and it's coming close. So having earthquakes and things pop off in this relatively normal time, or relatively short period of time around the eclipse, might not necessarily be from the eclipse. It's coincided with eclipses before, and some odd stuff happens. So keep an eye on that. So if the New Madrid fault line rips off, will it be giants emerging from Earth? Or will it just be a natural occurrence or man-made occurrence of two plates slipping in the ground, and we will get no giants? Somebody asked, imagine the Titans returning. I don't know if I want that. Like I took Latin and Roman history, and we had some Greek history and things like that in that for 4 or 5 years in high school. I don't think the Titans being around would be the best thing. And no, not the we were the Titans from the movie. We're talking about the sub-god giants that roam the earth in mythology. The giants are coming, guys. And how big are giants? Kyle and I started going down this path when we were talking on TikTok before we got unceremoniously removed. How big are we talking? What qualifies as a giant for you? When you say, hey, the giants are coming. If you were to try to explain to someone that giants were waking up from the eclipse, how big would you say the giant is? In Kyle and I's conversation, Kyle's eyes, they're beautiful if you didn't know. I stared deeply into them at last SRF. In our conversation, I was like, okay, so what do you think? And he's like, I don't know, like 10 foot tall. Like, is a 10-foot tall person a giant? I mean, they're very large, don't get me wrong. It's like 2/3 larger than me. Corey said she had last night dream was giants. What were the giants doing in your dream?
It was a very brief moment. They weren't doing much. They were just staring at all of us little people.
Okay, so Corey had a dream last night, guys, and I don't want my wife to be prophetic or anything. Is that it? Prophetic? Prophecy? Prophetic? I got my Tennessee accent on with my missing tooth, and sometimes I can't pronounce words real good. She said she had a dream last night that giants, and her giants were like 50 foot tall. And I asked her what they were doing over there, and I don't know if you could pick it up on the mic, but she said, "Oh, not much. It was just a brief moment in my dream, and they were just standing around staring at us all." I think that could be the best possible scenario, is the giants just stare at us. But in your opinion, how big would a giant be? I don't know. I'm thinking like 20 feet. Like, I want to know. I'm trying to figure out if I was at Walmart or Kroger or walking down the street, how big of a person would I be like, holy shit, that's supernatural. That is not a normal human being. That's a giant. Because like I've seen Yao Ming. Like I stood next to Yao Ming. That dude was big. Like super big. If you don't know who Yao Ming was, he was a NBA guy from China. They imported him to play basketball from China, and he was like 7 foot and change. I didn't have this in my notes. Yao Ming was sorry guys. I'm just trying to figure out what a giant would be considered. 7 foot 6 inches. So Yao Ming was 7 foot 6 inches. I don't think I would have called him a giant, but he was big. He definitely was big. Pip saying a 12-footer would be expected. I think 12 foot would be a good starting point. Maybe 10 foot. Oh, Corey says that she probably has it ingrained in her. Thanks for laying down, guys. Has it ingrained in her brain that they're so big because she drove by Paul Bunyan statue in Brainerd so much as her whole life. And she used to go to Paul Bunyan World, right? To Paul Bunyan Land. Mm-hmm. And the giant Paul Bunyan statue would talk to you like they had this thing set up. Like, how did people not know that mom and dad walked over and like signed you up? And they said, oh, my kid's name is Corey. And then you walked up to the thing and it's like, hello, Corey. Welcome to Paul Bunyan Land. And the kids are all like, oh my God, Paul Bunyan knows my name. So it's pretty cool as a kid, though. Okay, so giants, 12 footers, 13 footers, they're going to be emerging from the earth. What about like 40 footers? What would you do if come Monday, great Jimmy Buffett song, by the way, if come Monday afternoon, you were just hanging out, minding your own business, and all of a sudden, there was like a 40-foot human-looking thing just strolling down the horizon. Maybe not near enough to you to step on you or hurt you or anything. You're just kind of sitting on your porch, thinking about how good that salad you just ate was. And all of a sudden, there's a 40-foot giant just strolling by. What would you do? What would you do? Jim says if Homo sapiens are 4 to 7 foot tall. Well, I just told you that I know of a Homo sapien that's 7.5 foot tall, so that's over 7. Giants will vary too, so 8 foot to I don't know. Pickle Pete's talking about taking drugs here. Hunter's saying 3 to 4 stories. 40 feet. 40 feet. Pip says all I do is sit there and say this indica kicks ass. All right, so the Giants are my favorite. One thing that I haven't really been able to wrap my brain around because I'm not an astrology guy. Jim says Attack of the 50-Foot Woman showed us how people will react. Required viewing for this weekend, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Oh, Pickle Pete says his first simulated trip was Yogi Bear's giant picnic basket. That was the comment I talked about drugs. He says no drugs. He was 7. It happens. 40-foot tall Yogi Bear. That's scary. One of the things I haven't been able to figure out because I'm not into astrology, astronomy. Well, astronomy a little bit. I think we're talking about astronomy here today. Astrology and horoscopes and the houses of the rising sun and all of that jazz is I don't know how the correlation between the houses or the signs like Pisces and this and that. And I keep seeing this girl talking about the fact that the sun and the moon are not in, I believe it's Aries, which would be required for an eclipse. I don't understand how this works. Just lack of knowledge. I'm not saying it's not legit. I'm not saying that people haven't studied this for millennia. I just don't know much about it, and I don't have the time to go down the astrology rabbit hole at this very time. She keeps saying that if you use your if you used your Sky app or whatever you use to find constellations and things, that the sun and the moon are in the wrong position currently to cause an eclipse. Now, I might not understand all this. Hunter says he hasn't heard anything from the witches with the eclipse thing. So I don't understand the whole. Okay, so Genji says they are in Mercury, not Aries. Mercury will be in retrograde during the eclipse too. I can throw some stuff out at you that you will never understand about a lot of things, and that's one thing that you just threw at me. I don't know what is retrograde. I hear it all the time. I hear people make fun of it all the time. I don't know what these terms mean. I don't know what it actually means. And I have no desire to really look it up. So I haven't. Maybe at some point in my life. But anyway, not understanding that and just going with it, like taking this girl's word for it. Pip says he was never a fan of the Mitsubishi Eclipse. I'm just going with I'll have to concede to her that she knows more than me about the position of the sun and the moon in the sky. So going with that, I wanted to know what was going to be blocking out the sun. So I went down it a little bit. I went down the hole a little bit, and I understood what she was saying. What was going to cover the sun? I'm totally understanding her theory was the fact that Planet X, Narabu, or however you pronounce it, Planet X that is in our solar system, but takes a huge long orbit around the sun. And it also comes closer to the Earth than any other planet, that we haven't been able to really find out much about it. Will be passing by. And it isn't the moon that's going to be blocking out the sun. It's actually Planet X. There also are people talking about this theory when talking about the fact that the government's going to make it so we can't see it. Let me see here. Jen's going to explain retrograde is where the planet slows its path enough that it appears to the observer that is going in reverse from what I have read. I think Pickle Pete said moving backwards to its normal perceived flow from our perspective. Okie dokie. Pip kind of says it here. Epstein had an island. Imagine what politicians would do with a secret planet. So, hey, Clyde, shut it. I hear it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Clyde, like I said, is absolutely beside himself because our routine changed one little bit this morning. Like his world is completely upside down. I think he believes the rapture's happening. The eclipse is coming. I don't know, but Corey didn't work today, so he is losing his shit. Anyway, so they're saying that Planet X is going to be the thing causing the eclipse, not the moon. Because if let's rewind. You do realize that the eclipse is when the moon passes in between the earth and the sun, and it makes it so that we can't see the sun while it passes by. I didn't know if I needed to explain that to people. I mean, we all have different levels of astrological education. But regardless of that, they're saying that the moon isn't going to be there. It's not going to be lined up enough to do this. So something has to block it out if it goes dark all of a sudden. So they're saying it's Planet X. Planet X is making its rare appearance close enough to us, and now it's going to literally pass between us and the sun. And the government's worried about it. Jim says they're going to shoot missiles at it. Yeah. I don't know why we're shooting rockets at the eclipse, but it sounds like it's to study what the eclipse does to our ionosphere or something. Jen says there's 2 moons. Interesting. So Planet X coming through. He and what these people are saying is to avoid the general population freaking out, because it's not going to look like the moon going in front of the sun, like this big nasty ball of Planet X that's supposedly pretty volatile and pretty insane, similar to the Devil's Comet, is going to be visible in our daytime sky. And the government is worried about the reaction, so they're actually going to fly a bunch of planes around. Chemtrails, anyone? Weather manipulation, anyone? Someone was as bold to say, look at the path of totality here. And this was from 2 days ago. Remember the show I talked about, All Bark, No Bite, when we had weather forecasts from 7-8 days ahead of time? Guys, if you look at the path of the storm all the way from Texas to Michigan, and you followed it, it went right on the path of totality. Like every other storm system that moves across the United States from the time I was a kid. They're all kind of angled like this. I don't even know how to do the angle on this screen because it's backwards. But it's almost like that's, I don't know. Pip says Orlando's getting hammered with chemtrails. It might have been Hunter sent it to me. Canadian Farmstead. Somebody sent me one. I passed it around. Planes doing donuts in the sky, like circles in the sky, and the chemtrails coming out. These people are very concerned that the government is actually manipulating the weather, which isn't out of my considerable thoughts. But they're saying that they're going to spin it up. Hunter says not me on that one. People are saying that they're going to spin it up so that it's just going to be hazy cloud cover. Some are going as far as to say that they're going to spin up some very, very severe storms. And with all the people traveling to the path of totality, it's only 80 miles wide, that they're going to spin up some crazy tornadoes, thunderstorms, hail, and they're going to fuck these people up. And I'm like, what good does that do? Hunter says it's going to piss him off if it's cloudy. Like, what a bunch of blue balls. Like, you're going to have to wait 40 years or 20 years or something for the next event like this. And it's been pumping. Like, I think I started hearing about this in like December. It's been like 4 months at least of heavy people just going come. This is like 4 minutes long that it happens. Here we go. It's time for the eclipse. Everybody looks. It's just clouds, and it gets kind of dark, like a thunderstorm rolled through, and you're like, It's gonna be like that meme. It's gonna be like that meme with the guy with the stick. Instead of the stick at the ground, it's gonna be up at the sky, and it's just gonna say, "Do something." guys, it's two things like passing in front of each other. Who set it up here? Hunter brought up a good point that we need to have the eclipse because that's when they change the light bulb in the sun. Pip says you got to pay extra and buy a special ticket to see the actual eclipse. Hunters say it was 4 minutes for totality, but 15-ish for seeing anything. Mike's Homestead says they've already started. Remember Kyle talking about 20 inches and no power at his place? No one's going to travel there. I mean, no one can really travel there. The roads are impassable. The people are all stuck. Kyle is saying he's going to be out of power for 4 days. Maybe it's 3 days. Maybe it's 3 days of darkness. Have you guys read about the 3 days of darkness in Egypt coinciding with the solar eclipse? It's the end of the world, folks. End times. That's another theory that is going on. I am not a religious man. I am not I don't subscribe to it. I don't I dabble thinking about it and contemplating things, and the end times theories are very let me think about the fact that Pip says he pulls out bug spray for the locusts. It's not the locusts, it's the cicadas. It's the cicadas. Hold on, reading a message here. Hunter says, I got 7% of counties on emergency operations, and the .gov is already moving NBC guys around. Nuclear, biological, and chemical guys, or National Broadcasting Channel? Is that what it stands for? NBC? Jen G says the amount of hype about the eclipse a couple months ago was crazy. Lots of theories and talk. Then the news came out about the school closures, emergency management contingencies, and National Guard. Mike says, nope, Jesus will come like a thief in the night, unannounced. Yeah, the night, like during the eclipse. Jim says, please stand by while we make some upgrades to our system. The world will be temporarily out of order. Some dude I saw last night was talking about the resonance of the earth. So the earth resonates. We know this, it vibrates. He's been tracking this. Now, this dude reminded me of Woody Harrelson from 2012 or whatever it was, that you kind of say I am. But this dude like tracks the resonance of the earth, and he said that it stopped for a couple hours or an hour the other night at like 2 a.m. All of a sudden, it just glitched and stopped. He also has been monitoring the amount of resonance in the earth, and been saying that it's been increasing and decreasing at odd intervals. He's saying that he's been seeing the highest readings and the lowest readings he's seen since he's been tracking it, and he's been tracking it for years, I guess is what he said. And he's wondering what's going on. And it was pretty interesting, the list of symptoms, I guess we would call them, side effects of the residents of the earth and what's going on right now. I got to look into it more. That might be more for the Monday morning show, but I just happened upon him last night right before I went to bed, and it was too deep of a hole to go down. But he had some interesting stuff to say about Pickle Pete says it makes sense. It's like a string that gets plucked, pauses in the wave, but this was a total blank and then a immediate restart after an hour. I don't think it was the pluck. I think the pluck, you still have the vibrations for the short term. Like, this was an hour of completely blank data. And Hunter had sent me something about the radars going out all at the same time. All the weather radars. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. How are you? Hunter was sent me something about all the radars in the whole country. Weather radars went out at the same time. Pickle Pea says an hour of human time. Well, an hour on his recording device. And I haven't had the time to look at that one yet, but that is kind of interesting that all the weather radars kind of blipped at one time. And he also says he needs to send me the thing about the laser thing in Nevada. This is going to be an ongoing subject until it happens. Thank God it happens Monday. It's going to happen Monday, and then we'll be able to figure out what actually happened. So, yeah. End times. I saw one theory that you know how it all adds up. We talked about all the signs for the end times. We talked about Salem and Nivena, and the X marks the spots, and the last 2017 eclipse was through Salem, and then the whole biblical story of Nineveh, and that's where he traveled, and the end times, and blah 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 blah. Believe what you want. I got nothing against you if you are buying in on it, if you believe it or you don't, or it doesn't matter. But literally, I saw someone say that this is the end times. This is the picture that people have portrayed of the rapture with people ascending to heaven. He said that that everybody will be standing out, and this is the thing that gets me. Everybody isn't going to be standing out watching the eclipse. I don't know if I will. I mean, Corey said if we're not doing anything, we'll probably pop out and take a peek. But like, I'm not traveling. I'm not making plans. Like, if I have something to do, it's going to get dark for 4 minutes, and then it's going to get light. Woo. Like, okay. Canadian Farmstead. How are you going to record a podcast on Tuesday while you're running from the Giants? I haven't talked about recording a podcast on Tuesday. Well, anyway, this dude's theory with the end times is everybody's going to be out watching the eclipse, and we're all going to be looking up at the sky. Eclipse happens. We're going to look down and look around, and half the people are going to be gone. I assume he didn't necessarily say it, but I assume these people went to heaven and not hell. Because then he said that the end times, the revelation, like everything, the hell and brimfire and kitty dogs and weird shit, and the seas boiling and the sky breaking and all that shit is going to start going down after the eclipse. Hunter says, I like how all the sky stuff in the book from the Middle East, so much sky prophecy in a book is for not Middle East skies. Dude, it's just all perspective where you're at. Everybody's going to see the same thing at the end times, man. And if you don't believe it, it's the earth is flat. We all see the same thing all the time. This is not a globe, dude. Hunter wants to stone these people if they're wrong. Pip says St. Pete at the gate says, "Why are you worthy of getting in heaven, Pip?" Pip says, "I brought rubber ducks." Oh no, Jen wants to know what the laser thing in Nevada. What is that? Is that something I should know? Hey Hunter, is it of dire importance that Jen G knows the what's going on in Nevada? Because she lives in Nevada. Now you got her all worried. We need to ease her nerves before going into the weekend, and we won't have a show for 2 days. Jen, if Hunter sends me the information about the Nevada lasers, I'll post it in the Telegram group so you can look into it yourself, I guess. Oh, Hunter says you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's just lasers. Just lasers. Pip says chicks are always asking where are the nice guys, and he says yeah, they're gone due to the eclipse. Jim says Nevada experiencing giants with lasers. Nothing to worry about, Jen. Oh, Hunter's dad is there too, so if it was a concern, he would share with the community just to protect his dad also. Or maybe he's keeping it a secret so he can get his dad out before he spills the beans. Canadian Farmstead nails it. He says, I'm potting tomatoes right now. Going to be a huge waste of time if the rapture happens Monday. And I like, seriously, I told Corey that my luck is we will win $1 billion on Saturday and the fucking earth will end on Monday before I can get the check. That's what's going to happen. Oh, man. What else about the eclipse here did I have that I wanted to mention? We talked about the giants and the fault. Planet X is going to be covering not the moon. End times, the rapture, everybody's going to be staring at the sky, and all of a sudden they're all going to disappear. The government, there is a pretty well, Jim. If it's such a George Costanza thing to say, then you'll be happy to know that when I do win the $1 billion, I will be establishing the Human Fund. So, there is a growing. Well, I guess I did kind of mention this with the cloud cover, to block it out from everybody, that they're also going to intentionally attack people with the weather. Good morning, Carson. How are we doing? Thanks for joining in over on Facebook and the comment. Appreciate it. They're going to basically unleash severe weather on all these people that are going to be stranded. Talked about that. Terrorist attacks during the eclipse. Now, this is something to ponder. Good morning, John Palmer. Good day to you and have an awesome weekend. Live it up this weekend because Monday's the end, dude. This terrorist attack thing does have me contemplating, with all the buzz about the fact that this could cause communication issues. This could cause all this. that and whatnot, the issues with electronics. What a perfect time to maybe pop off an EMP and make it permanent or semi-permanent. Man, maybe our government's throwing these missiles up in the sky, and it's not necessarily to do research about the sun. Maybe there's something weird on those rockets, and maybe we won't have electricity after. Carson says the end is when God decides. Fair enough. Fair enough. So what's to say that when everybody's whipped up and worried about the lights going out because of the eclipse, somebody pops off some EMPs or attacks the grid. And when the lights come back on after the eclipse, maybe it wasn't the eclipse that was screwing with stuff. Pickle P says it's not over till the DJ leaves the stage. Whoever your DJ might be. Oh, and CERN. Guys, that's the other thing. I didn't have it on my list because it was the first one I watched last night, and by the time I got my list out to put stuff on, they're firing CERN back up on Monday. Coincidence? Somebody was talking about ellipses instead of eclipses. Did you hear the guy from NASA spoke? The dude from NASA misspoke about the eclipse, and he said ellipse. This guy went down a rambling path of, he equated CERN to the oh, this is great. Pickle Pete says CERN finds the devil particle and bursts it into existence. No. So CERN's on the other side of the world, right? So he was saying, have you ever had kidney stones? I haven't. Well, I'm pretty sure I did once, but it was small enough that I passed it. It was incredibly painful, and I never went to the doctor because I didn't have insurance, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Don't think it was a... So I suppose from this guy, what he says, when you have a kidney stone big enough that you can't pass, they take a machine that uses sound and an elliptical refractor. Tim says STD. Maybe. There's a elliptical reflector, and they bounce the sound, and the way an ellipse works is it has two focus points. And if you concentrate things into one of the foci, it will bounce across and refract and come up the other focus. Pickle P says it's how they brought down Jericho. So he started talking about this dude misspeaking and saying ellipse instead of eclipse. And he correlated with CERN starting back up. And he did a very crappy job. But he said, what if CERN and the X of the two eclipses are the foci of a huge ellipse? And CERN is going to focus the energy into the one foci, and it's going to shoot through the earth and start the earthquake of the New Madrid fault line using an ellipse during the eclipse. Carson says when driving ambulances 25 years ago, they had those bathtubs in a hospital in Memphis Jim says total ellipse of the heart. Canadian Farmstead, he said he always wanted oceanfront property. I mean, the science is there. Like he did a really crappy job of pointing out the foci of CERN versus the X marks the spot. But like, Pip says he might be able to afford land in Tennessee after the ellipse. Simpsons. I did go down the Simpsons line. They didn't have very many specific predictions for this eclipse. They did have some pretty crazy 2024 predictions that I don't even want to start to talk about. But yeah, I kind of like this CERN thing. CERN, I don't know if it necessarily concerns me more than concerns me. I'm not scared of it, but it intrigues me. It intrigues me for sure. If you don't know what CERN is, look into it. It's something. Canadian Farmstead's wondering how quickly I can convert my RV skirt into pontoons. I mean, legit, dude, we're only a couple miles from the Tennessee River, and I can only imagine what happens during if the New Madrid rips off. Like, really, I don't know what happens. I know the last time it ripped off, the Mississippi ran backwards for a little bit. The Mississippi River ran backwards for a while during the last New Madrid earthquake. So things get rocky. Hunter says we need to figure out a signal or sign if we slip dimensions. Carson's wondering if I'm at SRF. Yeah, I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna be there Saturday morning. We're skipping today. We got some other stuff to take care of. We'll be there bright and early on Saturday. We're gonna have a vendor tent with Toolman Tim, and I'll also be running the content creator tent that they've had, but no one's ever really used it much. So Nicole and I worked out something to kind of try to make that a better thing. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm 7 after. Pickle Pete's got a show coming up. He's got a new music Friday, so be sure to flip over and check him out if that's your thing. Wake Up Seattle. Other than that, I think I got to roll on with more Eclipse. Oh, man, Carson, that sucks. You're not going to be making it out. I plan to be there in the fall, too. Plan to be on the fall. Yeah. I think we're going to roll through the weekend. We're going to do some Eclipse prep. Like I said, if I'm not around on Monday, expect all your checks in the mail. Maybe. There's 10 people watching right now. If I can get a screenshot of the 10 people watching, we'll see. We'll see. $1 billion, guys, Saturday night. If you want to roll the dice, maybe you don't gamble, but maybe $1 or $2 is worth $1 billion. I don't know. Grow Noster, Jim. Yeah, Jim says Grow Noster. Let's see over there. Jim Zap. Thanks for the zap, Jim. Thank you for the zap. I appreciate that over on Noster, guys. If you want to watch on Noster, that's always appreciated too. Other than that, thanks for stopping in and listening this morning. If you got any crazy eclipse or ellipse theories, definitely hit my email, info@thelotsproject.com. Find the Telegram group at t.me/lotschat, or comment on any post that I make, or on the podcast, anywhere you listen to it. You can always hit that like, share, and subscribe. To return value for value, please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers, or listen on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. Visit thelotsproject.com and comfreyroots.com to find out more information about me and all my links partner companies, affiliate codes, discount codes, and the such. Other than that, it's Friday, guys. Enjoy your one last weekend before the possible eclipse, whatever happens. Have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It may be the last one. Probably not, but you never know. We'll talk to you later.